Alright, so hello, welcome YouTube and Twitch. This is a vintage challenge video. I am playing another round here with Bizarre XPO, the Riddler, featuring Riddlesmith, Oval Chase Daredevil, Hollow One, Paradoxical Outcome, Bizarre of Baghdad, all your favorite vintage Magic the Gathering cards. If you want to learn a little bit more about the deck and its function, maybe check out the previous League video. I'll probably put a link up in the top right for you to go check that out if you want. We're just going to jump right in and play our challenge match. We're round 1 versus Bryant Cook, so very likely to be on 4-color Paradoxical Outcome. Here, we don't actually have the worst hand because we do have like a pretty reasonable... So if we go C, Pearl, Mana Vault, 4 mana, Tinker into a Lotus, no. It's kind of unfortunate. We just needed this Bullet Citadel to not be in our hand. We just like don't really have the mana to be tinkering into Lotus and casting Citadel, unfortunately. Because Tinker is net 0 mana, and we only have 5 mana on one turn, or 4 mana right away. I mean, we could make it work. We could just PO for 2 to start, and then work from there. We have to be aware that opponent's on a Pyroblast deck. I might just jam the PO for 2, though, and like see if we can't make it work. I don't know. If the PO gets forced, we kind of have nothing going for us, so I'm just going to mulligan this hand. This hand seems reasonable. Obviously not superb, but let's just get rid of the Yogg-Will to start. We already have a Cruise, and it's more likely to cast Cruise than Yogg-Will. We can already break the disadvantage of the Bizarre of Baghdad using Oval Chase Daredevil. Looks like we're not really going to have the mana for Riddlesmith for a while. Well, maybe we could play a Riddlesmith next turn off of... Nah, it just doesn't seem like that's worth it. Definitely don't need this land. Or, well, we don't really need an Expedition map because we have our 2 targets. And we don't really need a land. So I guess we can keep the Daredevil, the Riddlesmith, and maybe look to do that next turn. Obviously, kind of a sketchy keep against PO where they could just kill us, but... This obviously represents Pyroblast and Ancestral. Drew a Tinker. Alright, I'm gonna return this Daredevil with my Opal, and then we'll activate Bizarre. Not really ideal here, but maybe the best way to go about this is to just pitch the Riddlesmith and the Cruise. Nah, the Riddlesmith and the... If we go Riddlesmith, Cruise, and then we go for like Time Walk, Tinker, I just don't feel like we're going to be able to beat whatever Brian has going on, especially if he has a Pyroblast is what I'm really worried about. Maybe we just don't actually want this land, and we just want to keep all of our action. Could see that being the case. We really just need like one more artifact, right? We're not going anywhere fast is the problem, obviously. We do get to, you know, have pretty high card quality with our Faithless Looting every turn, but... Oh, they have a Lavinia? No, okay. Lavinia would be bad. I don't remember Bryant playing a Lavinia recently in the main. Just 3? Only 3? Eh. Alright, so Merchant for Ancestral. See if he holds open Pyroblast. I feel like either has Pyroblast or is heavily representing Pyroblast. Bizarre is just like not a very good draw, unfortunately. We really wanted to hit a Mox in there so that we could bring back our Daredevil, but we have a lot of action though, so. So how do I want to play this? I do want a Soul Ring for sure. Oh man. If we just go... It's really bad for us. I think I just need to make him counter the cruise. I think we're just gonna lose the time walk. I can't even play the cruise this turn though. Unless I keep this flooded strand. Maybe what I do is I just lose the time walk and the tinker. That's so bad too. I guess I'm gonna have to pass this turn and then die on their turn. Not really thrilled about this, but maybe I can overload them on the next turn. It's not good for us. It's really not good for us. I suspect we're probably going to get Ancestral at the end of this turn here, and then opponent is going to probably kill us on their turn, because we just didn't get anywhere fast, unfortunately. Interesting. Alright. That's very odd. I guess they must have a Pyroblast if he's not willing to Ancestral into no mana. I assume we're just getting tinkered with Pyroblast back up and we're dead anyways, so it doesn't really matter what we do. But unfortunately, we needed we needed to hit the artifact on that draw step so that we could have played multiple spells. So Teferi, bounce my Crypt, replay my Crypt, and Tinker is what I assume is happening here. Or just PO for 3. Unfortunately, we just were one turn short of doing something worthwhile. Like our next turn is pretty good. We have Cruise into Tinker. Like it's not a bad, but it's just probably too slow. This is kind of what happens when any PO deck doesn't draw Moxen. Like, we just drew none of our Moxen, so we pretty much had no chance of doing something explosive. I mean, if Brian doesn't draw, if Brian doesn't draw PO, then maybe we have a shot if he went to Fairy Bounce or something, but doesn't seem like that's the case. It's already drawn 9 cards this turn, so 10 cards. I guess 11 cards. So yeah, we kind of just needed our Bazaar that we drew to be a Moxen, and then we would have had like plenty of things going on. Being able to go Moxen, Soul Ring, have a bunch of blue mana, Cruise, Tinker is probably what we really needed to do last turn, but ooh, 3 POs in the top half, not bad. Definitely in this situation worse than a Squee, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, I could concede. I'm pretty much 100% dead, but um, I don't really care. What is this paper magic? I've never heard of it. So he has to find Breacher Will to flashback Time Walk. Once he casts Breacher Will, I'll just concede. Alright. I don't have to make him find it. I think I typically would encourage people to, I don't know, concede way earlier than that. But I think it's good to show the stream what's happening. So, oh no, he's like 100% to find it, really. So I'm just gonna bring in Flusterstorm, Trap, and Caracas. I'm pretty sure he's on Lavinia's, but maybe he doesn't play Lavinia's. You have to respect Lavinia though. I don't really want a repeal. I think the Caracas covers what I really want to be repealing, so repeal just doesn't really do very much. And then I don't really know what else we would want to cut. All of our cards are reasonable. Maybe just a hollow one. Not really. Citadel's kind of broken even when you're paying 5 life to play hollow one. You also have like Riddlesmith and top, so it's not really that big a deal. Maybe I can go down an island. Feels a little risky with my like 7 lands, but let's try going down an island. So yeah, we started with a bazaar and a handful of not great cards. We eventually got to great cards, and it was just too late. Oh man, this hand is just kind of bleh. Just not strong enough. I guess we get to cycle the hollow one, land, Soul Ring, cycle hollow one. We can just do so much better though. Yeah, like that. We can just do so much better. Now, I don't know if Bryant plays... I don't know if Bryant plays Trap, but we're going to just jam into Trap for sure. I guess we don't really need to jam into the first Trap. We can just go on his upkeep, but we just have the ability to recycle 2 POs here, so I actually think we might keep Lotus because it's a blue source. So I actually think we just bin this Emerald and go blue land, 1, 2, 3, PO. Yeah. I think we keep the Lotus because it's going to let us do follow-up plays. We already have 4 mana, so we don't really need the colorless green mana. Alright. So now it's only for... So we can play Lotus, Riddlesmith now? Is that what we want to be doing? Maybe we save one of the blue mana. So this is 6 mana. Or we can just PO for 2 and save 2 blue mana. It's probably better. Especially without an oval chase Daredevil. So we drew all our POs, but not much else besides that. I think I want to play a Crypt, play a Riddlesmith, play a Jet. It's not great, but it's fine. Time Vault, interesting. So if I draw a Moxen here, then I don't even need to draw Moxen actually. Let's just play our Time Vault. And then we have our 1 extra mana to play our Hollow 1-for-1. There's like some classic vintage decks that use that name. I think I would rather pitch this Opal than any of my POs here. Apparently so there was a 2010 Riddlesmith deck called the Riddler, and then apparently I got yelled at by Boomer Kevin Cron that there was a 2005 Uba Mask deck that was called the Riddler, so I don't know, man. Who knows? Classic Boomer cards. Alright, so they went for Ancestral, not Force, so we have a lot of leeway here. We're gonna attack and then PO most of our things back. Probably at least 1, 2, 3, 4. I think just 4. I think I'd rather leave the Riddlesmith in play. All right, we hit a Oval Chase Daredevil, which is top notch Magic the Gathering now. So. So as long as we should be just good to go here. Now every time we play one of our Moxen, we draw a card. Our hollow ones are free. And now we have Vault Key. Alright. That's game, folks. Yeah, Riddlesmith, when you hit a Daredevil, that's where you want to be. We cast a lot of POs this game, though, so that certainly helps. Alright, so they had Mental Misstep, so we don't actually have infinite turns right now. I could have Merchant Scroll for a Force of Will, but I don't think I really care, so like we just gonna continue going off, and then eventually we'll return it from our yard. Oh, I used the wrong thing. Whoops. Like we have Time Walk, we have PO, we have everything, so it doesn't really matter what opponent's doing here. Alright, Brian's seen enough, so. Yeah, so that's the deck. It's a PO deck, but you also have a cool Riddlesmith interaction and hollow ones and Bizarre Baghdad's. It's a fun time. Yeah, we should probably be able to win that game just by playing 14 power and casting Time Walk, or we could Yogg Will back our infinite turns. It doesn't really matter. Typically, when you've cast 3 POs, it doesn't really matter how you choose to win the game. So, think we'll just run it back. Let me just make a check and look at Lavinia and see if Bryant is on Lavinia's, because we can configure our deck differently if Bryant does not play Lavinia anymore. No, one Lavinia main, sometimes one board. All right, so let's just keep the configuration the way it is, and we'll run it back. Yeah, this is the new stock PO, Justin. Didn't you know? All right, let's run it back. All right, so we're looking for a powerful turn 1 play with some backup. This is not like terrible because it is turn 1 search for Academy, but it's just not powerful enough. We're like really looking for like a Force of Will hand that has a Tinker or like a Mind Break Trap and a PO hand or something like that. I just don't think this is good enough. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one though. Opponent's on 5. I'm just gonna bin this hollow one and go for some vault keys. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's probably the whole thing. If we draw a mana source off the top, then we just vault key and win. Obviously, opponent has to have no counters, but they are on 4 cards, so obviously opponent got pretty unlucky with their mulligans. But it is the London Mulligan, so their 4-card hand could easily be, you know, land Mox Mox Ancestral into Mox Mox PO, so let's see what happens. Alright, that's 2 of their 4 cards. What else you have? Ponder with a fetch land, not bad. Alright, so they're going to have probably 2 cards in hand, so we're going to dodge a lot of things. If we can dodge Misstep, that would be the best. Alright, time to find out. Opponent chose not to shuffle, so we might want to end up Bazaar, X-Fishing mapping for a Bazaar. So we're currently a mana short, right? So if we go Ruby, Vault, Map, Academy key, not good. If we go Ruby, Vault, Map, Bazaar, that's probably the best line. Ruby, Vault, Academy is only 2 mana, so that doesn't do it. Ruby, Vault, Ruby. I can key my Vault for extra mana, but then I can't time Vault. So, and this costs 3 mana, guys. You guys are not mathing very well right now. It costs 3 mana to activate Expedition Map. Chat Lethal is going off right now. I can use 3 mana and get an Expedition Map into of Academy and play Key, untap, Mana Vault, play Time Vault, and pass the turn and hope opponent has nothing. Or I can go Expedition Map, get a Bazaar, draw 2 cards, and pitch 2 Daredevils, which I think is much better. Let's see if Expedition Map resolves. I'm never time vaulting here, so I think it just makes more sense to get a Bazaar. I'm gonna get a Bazaar. If I hit a Moxen, we're in like great shape, or that's fine too. Well, I guess this is not exactly fine. Because I have to pitch Riddle Smith to keep my Vault key. That's unfortunate. We have to, though. Alright, let's see. No, I'm looking for an early Vault, I think. I think that makes more sense. Let's see what opponent has with 2 cards. Maybe they have a Mentor or a Lavinia. That's good. All right. It's not really stopping our plan, though, so it's not too big of a deal. Especially seeing as we're getting 2 Daredevils back with this key. That's not a bad card to draw either. All right, so 2 Daredevils come back. We get to activate Bazaar. We found an Opal, which is obviously not good. So these draws were not very good. This is definitely not ideal. So this Opal does not bring back my Daredevils because it never resolves. But we do have eventually still have Vault Key by untapping our Mana Vault and playing Time Vault, so it's not really too big of a deal. We really want to find like a blue land now, just so we can like cast an Ancestral. Just like not very good draws here, unfortunately. So I have to decide to either... I can't cast Time Vault actually because I don't have a land still, because I need to have 2 lands, so we just have to activate. Wow, we've just drawn very, very poorly. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we cut a land, so that makes sense. Maybe we just should never have cut a land, but if we just can hit a land next turn, maybe a blue land so that we can cast Ancestral to bait a counterspell and then jam a Time Vault, we're still fine. Obviously, we're still fine. Obviously, we're very lucky that opponent mulled to Oblivion and flooded out, so I don't think we would win this game if opponent just kept a 7-card hand, but sometimes you have to get lucky in Magic. Holy moly, we cannot keep drawing these Force of Wills. All right, we found the land, chat. All right, we found the land. So I'm just going to pitch all my Force of Wills. And then opponent has 5 mana, so I want to definitely play Ancestral first. And try to bait a hardcast Force of Will. Which didn't happen, so I'm just going to jam Time Vault. Alright. And now we're just going to win. Yeah, opponent just got horrendously unlucky, and we didn't really... Our draws were not very good, obviously. We drew all 4 Force of Wills into active Lavinia. But, yeah, opponent just didn't play Magic that game, so... Sometimes you get lucky, I guess. I still think I like how we played the game. I still think the Expedition map for Bazaar makes the most sense. What do you guys think? Because that was like the only choice we made in this game that really mattered, right? I think that was like the only choice that mattered. I think map for Bazaar just makes the most sense, especially seeing as opponent, like, we know opponent doesn't have a lot of action, so we just want to grab a Bazaar to maximize card advantage. Obviously, Lavinia is very good against hard tech, which is why we're playing Expedition map and Caracas in the side. Caracas. Because this actually happens on resolve when it enters the battlefield. So because the opals and all the 0 drops get countered by Lavinia, they don't return the Daredevil, and you lose your card advantage engine. So it was like good for us that we had a Manifold Key, which is a 1-drop, and a Time Vault, which is a 2-drop. But you wanted to put in Vault Key and pass the turn. I think that's like really greedy. Like, we should have the ability to Vault Key and more if we get a Bazaar. 1, maybe 2 Ashen Rider, I would say.